Hi, my name's Cindy Moyer, and I read the book The Creative Curve by Alan Gannett. I decided to choose this book because I've always felt as if I was given the talent to be very good at sports, and I felt like that was my only talent. Um, so, when it comes to creativity, that's probably one of the first things I ever tell people. I am not a creative person. I can't draw. I'm horrible at art. I can't sing, like any of the artistic characteristics. I felt as if I was never given any of them. But then also, I've never really practiced them either. I felt like I wasn't naturally good at those from the get go. So I never really explored them. So I chose this book because I was interested to know. I read the little summary about it, and I was interested to know whether I can still be creative, I can still be innovative, whether I was born with that characteristic or not. Especially since I one day hope to open my own practice. I just wanted to gain a little bit of insight on this. So, overall, this author ends up talking about a bunch of different theories that have been going around forever as to being creative, like what's the secret behind it. So there over time there's been multiple theories, whether it's just something that randomly comes to you one day and then you make it happen, or a good example they gave of that was an artist who heard something in their dream, and so they went around and thought it was too good to be true, and went around to other artists and was like, what do you think of my song? Have you heard it before? And everybody's like, this is amazing. No, like it doesn't exist. You came up with it. So they thought, oh wow, it just came to him in his dream. But then he also, to negate this by the author, what he did was he showed proof that he spent every waking moment of the day like following up with that. So he worked on writing lyrics. He heard a tune in his dreams, but he followed that. He didn't just drop it there or just, produce that tune that he heard in his dreams. He wrote music to match it. So he put in extra work and extra time throughout that. So he kind of discredited that theory. Then you have other theories that you're just born with creativeness. And then you have another theory that it depends on your IQ. So above like a certain threshold for your IQ, everyone above that has a potential to be a creative genius. So there's so many theories, and this author goes on to say that he believes that anybody can have this potential if they follow these 4 specific laws. So one example, or one thing he came up with was this bell-shaped curve. So he said that you have to have a middle ground of the y-axis. So preference, you need to hit that peak, but then you also on the x-axis need to be somewhere in between novel and familiar. So one example he gave was this thing called Campus Network. And Campus Network was created by some Ivy League students, and it came out a couple weeks before Facebook. And it was this huge social media thing, almost identical to Facebook, but what they did was they unloaded all these advanced features at once. Whereas, besides MySpace, like, this was the first biggest, social media outlet. So when they released all these advanced features, it kind of just crashed because it overwhelmed everybody. So as that crashed, Facebook just released one at a time. So they released Facebook, everybody gets engaged, it's new, it's interesting, but it's not too overwhelming with all these advanced features. And then as it became recognized and became very popular, it slowly would release one advanced feature, let them get used to it, then release another, then release another. So it was this like linear releasing that allowed them to not overwhelm people, but then also give people something new and exciting to look for, something like that becomes almost addictive. So after this bell-shaped curve that he introduced, he also gave us like 4 key points, 4 main steps to become creative in a sense. So the first one was consumption. You need, what according to him, you need to spend 20% of your waking hours on that specific area, that specific topic, to become an expert in that area. So one example he gave was this guy who worked for a VHS store. He wanted to learn so much about movies, so he watched just about every movie in the store. Well, one day he ended up working and running Netflix. So he became successful in running Netflix because the expert consumer was able to become an expert producer. He could take all the different areas and genres of videos and take the negatives and positives from them and produce movies or give certain movies to the consumers so that Netflix would be successful. So now he's running Netflix and he's doing amazing. The next one is imitation, and this is the fact that you are taking a certain blueprint or taking a certain template, copying that, and then adding to it. So for my example, this is exactly what happened to me. I was a consumer in which I love going to my HIIT gym, my high intensity interval training gym, and that gave me an idea. I'm like, wow, I can literally open up my HIIT gym, but I think it would do so much better if I combine it with a PT clinic. So that's my goal. One day I want to open up a HIIT gym, I want to open up a PT clinic, but then being a consumer has allowed me to see and make adjustments. So I'm able to see what's working really well, what I could do to benefit that facility a little bit better, and then also combine it with PT. Then I have free referrals, etc., so much other things. But just being able to take a certain blueprint, copy it, but then add in my own creativeness, add in my own unique aspects to it, and that was the second step. So then the next one was creative communities, and then this is just having like multiple people coming together to create this this idea. So here you have your master teacher. So this is the person that's like an expert in the area. Then you have someone who is the collaborator that allows everyone to get together and work together very well. Then you have someone who challenges everyone. So every time someone throws out an idea, it's not necessarily a good one. Why is it good? Why is it bad? Should we move forward with this? And then lastly, you have someone who's that like social butterfly or that promoter that can extend out to other communities, extend out to consumers. And you just need that creative community, that creative team to be successful. And then the last one is all about taking qualitative feedback and making adjustments. So being able to take good, bad, any type of feedback and being able to adjust your product, adjust your business, and satisfy the customers. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. They're coming for your service, they're coming for your product, and you have to be able to, ego aside, stop what you're doing, whether you like it or not, and adjust to what they want. So lastly, I'm just going to look at this just to make sure I hit everything. This can help with leadership and management growth because you can follow these 4 steps and just be successful in your own business. For myself, you can realize that it's not just something you're born with. But then as I say that, I think it does kind of still contradict my own personal feelings because I still think someone might have a leg up over someone else. As I'm just naturally good at sports, someone might be naturally more creative. So I think you can do some purposeful training, which is what they talk about in the book, but I still think there's some type of genetic innate characteristic that makes us more creative than others.